What is going on, Duval Dive? An honor, joy, and privilege to have you all once again. Of course, this is Kyle Nash, the student of the game. Welcome in, as I said, of Fans First Sports Network.
And I'm Travis Holmes with BigCatCountry.com.
And, of course, you're listening to us do this thing on the Believe Podcast Network. And, of course, I did a little something different with the intro. I did the Travis Hunter draft dance because I'm sure all the members of any fan base, Duval, Devout, and otherwise, are dancing. Sure, we have it coming up here very shortly here, the opening weekend that is 2025 NFL Sunday. But we also have the treat of the great, the incomparable former NFLer, former Florida Gator, the great Ben Troupe, who, I got to say, I always like going through his podcast with him because I want to make sure I get it right. He has one of his podcasts, one of his projects that is not just a title of a podcast, but it should be a way you live your life. No weddings in the fall. That's just how it should be done. And there's more than 84 reasons, see another Ben Troupe podcast, for you to do it that way. Ben Troupe, welcome in, my friend.
Kyle, let me tell you something, sir. I don't know if I'm ever going to need an introduction, but if I do, I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to need either fly Kyle in because I'm going to need it, and plus I'm going to record it because my wife always telling me I ain't nobody. I ain't nobody. I get that. But Kyle, Travis, I appreciate listen, it's not too many times that you're going to have Titans and Jags, columnists, analysts, writers get together, but I appreciate, Trav, when you reached out to me, I felt like somebody for two reasons. One, you invited me on the show the first time, but you had me back the second time. Hey, man, that's how you know if it's real. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
See, it's moments like this. People wonder how it was I pulled off in my wedding, having an ex-girlfriend in my wedding court. And I just say I'm talent. I am a broker of peace. So compared to that, a Titans fan and a Jags fan ain't nothing. There you go. I'll let you boy.
That's gonna be a show within itself. That's gonna be after dark, right there.
What?
Number one, how did that conversation happen? You like, get your list together. Who is this, Kyle? She want to be in it. She want to be in it.
I'm sure she does.
We're you know what I'm saying? I mean, talk about the one that got away. She's looking at like,
oh my gosh.
Kyle was like,
that's
look,
bold.
That
man say he's a broker of peace. Not at your wedding, you not. Like I'm shocked. I'm shocked. This wasn't World Star.
Yeah,
without getting too much into it, I don't want to spend too much time. I will say the choice wasn't mine. Let's not act like I suggested this to happen.
I mean, so she come to you with it, and you go, huh? If that's what you want, cool.
I said, well, you could pick this person.
That's a smart man.
That would make sense.
You say you got it. Whatever you want, baby.
No, but I want your. So what you're saying is, and I must have done that at least 2 times, but what you're telling me is that this is what you're looking. Okay. At some point, you just relinquish the fight because what choice is there? She finally agreed to have the particular, meal choice or whatever it is go your way, and you managed to keep the cost down. Let's not rock that boat. I'm just saying. Guys, let me tell you, I was way more involved with my wedding planning than most grooms were, and I take pride in that. At any rate, speaking of weddings, there's a whole lot of new stuff going on, a whole lot new of couplings out there. And there's just only really one team that I don't feel like had a coupling in their process in the AFC South that really got my attention. Matter of fact, they parted with some people. There was some divorce, if you will, within the ranks of the Houston Texans. Now, I know the Texans, and this is where we're getting started with our prediction episode, folks, in case you didn't figure out that segue. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, gentlemen. In light of the fact that they've parted ways with Laramie Tunsil, this offensive line got worse. You can tell me what you want about their defense. You can say what you will about their running core and their receivers. And C.J. Stroud is a quarterback I like, as much as I keep getting called a C.J. Stroud hater because I hint at the fact that he and Trevor Lawrence are similar players. Whatever. But guys, I see a very real possibility that the Texans only win 9 games this year. They may still win the division, but I think they're a 9-win, 10-win team at best right now. I'm seeing some nods. I'm seeing some compelled faces. Ben, I'm seeing nods from you. What are you feeling? Where are you down? How right am I with that?
I think you're very right. And bigger than the CJ Stroud is this. The Houston Texans, let's just call it, the last 2 years, they was a good team in a bad division. I'm not taking nothing away from them, right? But I go, the Texans are the one team in any division that while they are winning it, none of the other 3 teams are afraid of them. Don't mean they're going to beat them, but they are not afraid of them. I think the reason why people don't like the comparison of Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud, because it's the truth. People don't like the truth because they're going to say, well, how can he be this? The numbers don't lie. The numbers do not lie when you talk about what CJ Stroud has done. But let me tell you the thing about the Houston Texans. DeMeco Ryans, he came into the head coach at the right time in a division that does not have an identity. Most divisions, you know what the identity of the division is. The identity of the AFC South is coach carousels. You got these new coaches coming, and you don't know who's who. Who is that, Callahan? Or that's Liam Coen? Oh, that's Liam Coen. Oh, we got DeMeco Ryans. Oh, is he? No, he's the head coach, right? And does it really matter who's the head coach of the Colts? It don't. Not at this point. If you've had 11 quarterbacks in how many years? Since Andrew Luck, you've had 11 quarterbacks. That means you haven't found nobody. And your best quarterbacks were either 40 years old or pushing 40. Matt Hasselbeck, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, and they've actually outplayed the 20-somethings. That's the crazy part. So I agree with you, Kyle, when it comes to Houston. I'm going to keep saying this. I respect Houston. Being a Titans fan, but you ain't afraid of them. And it's something to say about the best team who you respect them, but you ain't afraid of them, which means they can be beat. And I do agree. I don't think they're going to win more than 10 games this year because I think this division is going to be very competitive. And like I said, CJ Stroud is a really, really good quarterback, man. Does he have greatness in him? I don't know. I do not know. Because if your best receiver is Nico Collins, I know that Tank got hurt twice. Your starting running back is Nick Chubb. Out of everybody you had, Damian Pierce is there. Nick Chubb. Not only was he on the street, he was a starter on the street. Now he's starting for y'all. The one thing I will say about the Texans is this. They might not be the best 2 pass rushers in the league, but as a tandem, Daniel Hunter and Will Anderson, they'll keep you up at night. They're not the best 2 pass rushers in the league, but as a duo, I don't know if you have a better duo in the league. And people saying, what about Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns? What about them? What about them? Stop that nonsense.
I'm sure there's an argument to be made for Travon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen, but
I was gonna get to listen. Number one, I got to say this, Josh Allen, man. Listen, so happy for your son, man. I don't even know what it's like to have to deal with something like that. I'm happy that he's cancer free, and I pray that he stay cancer free. I think it's gonna bode really, really well for the Jags. What will a not having to worry about my son, Josh Allen, be this year? Because playing with dad at home, football takes a strong back seat, but I'm happy for him. And like I said, man, the Josh Allen and the Jags ain't as good as the Josh Allen of Buffalo, but he good, though. He real good. And Trayvon Walker, I'm always say this, I was wrong about you. I was dead wrong about Trayvon. I thought he was going to be good. I didn't see double digits. I didn't see that. But I can admit when I'm wrong.
Multiple double-digit sacks seasons.
Listen. My wife don't hear this part. I think I'm getting better at admitting when I'm wrong. She probably have something to say about that. I'm probably like a little book. But I just think that once again, I agree with you, Kyle. I think the Texans 9-8 at worst, 10-7 at best. I don't see them winning more than that game.
So we disagree. I'm gonna be real with you, Ben. We disagree. And I thought it was funny when Kyle said 10 wins, because in my head I was like, shoot, I almost cursed. I was like, shoot. No, I actually see the floor for Houston being 8 wins. And I looked through their schedule and I was just like, no. Like you're opening with the LA Rams. You got Tampa Bay right after that. I think you're starting the season 0-2 off rip. Like,
let me be clear.
If you go 0-3 against Jacksonville, at this point, you may be at your bye week at 1-4.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking down this bad boy, and I'm like, there's a real world where 7 wins is like realistic for this Houston Texans team. And I wasn't trying to be crazy, so I said 8 just to round it up. But I'm like, if that offensive line isn't what it needs to be, if Joe Mixon is actually going to be hurt as long as they're discussing him being hurt, if Christian Kirk is going to be injured now for like at least the next 2 weeks, maybe even 3, and he's not playing that first Jacksonville game, bruh, this might not be what you want. Like,
I don't mean to say that 9 is the floor either. Like, this is
Ben said 9 was the floor, so I was just responding to the 9 is the floor comment specifically. When I say no, I think 8 is the floor. And I could see a world where 7 is if they don't get healthier quickly.
So your pendulum is swinging a bit wider. Okay, I could feel that. That makes sense.
Yeah, man. You entered the season with a rough offensive line situation, and then you want to add injuries to that? No. Your good year was going to be built on the back of being healthy. So as soon as you start the year off unhealthy, it's like, oh, that's a bad omen.
That's a fine point for any NFL team. I think that's fair to say. And for me, I'll say this. Nick Chubb, I know he was a starter on the street. Ben, this isn't me saying I think you're wrong about the evaluation. I think he's going to surprise people and be more potent. He's not going to break the league wide open like he did when he first came out, but I think he's going to be a serviceable running back. I think, especially with the talk of Mixon getting injured, I think he's going to get 1,000 yards, which isn't the accomplishment it used to be at one point. I understand that, but I think he'll be a stable base, especially if that defense gets involved the way that Ben's talking about, right? I think they're going to win a lot more close games and be grittier doing it against teams that they'll be like, oh, well, nobody will point it out necessarily, at least in Houston, right? But they'll make gritty wins out of wins that were not so previously gritty in the past, is what I'm saying. Maybe that Colts game gets a little bit closer than it should. Maybe if and when they beat the Jaguars, it's only by 4 points like it was last time, right? That kind of thing. So, that's where I think you can have the small swinging pendulum for the Texans.
Well, the Texans were already 5-2 in one-score games in 2024. But at least they were at that point in, I believe it was like late November or something like that. So that they probably did really well overall over the scope of the season in one-score games. I didn't look up the whole stat, but that's just per an ESPN article that was back in late November. So I'm like, well, they were already pretty good overall in one-score games last year. And normally what takes place is that swings back to the average in the following seasons. You see the Jacksonville Jaguars, when you lose 10 games in one season, the next season that's probably going to be closer to 500. That's kind of how that works. So I'm actually thinking the Texans are going to be worse just because you're not as good as a team. You're not, and you're playing a first place schedule in addition, like, to all those things, and you did not get better in the offseason, so everybody else got a little bit better to catch up. That's why I'm planning.
Yeah, but the thing about the Texans is this, though. I think when you look at their schedule, it is not favorable. But I look at some of the teams they're going to play, and I think of some of these teams, they don't care about winning. They care about not necessarily. I mean, they want to have the best record in their conference, like the Bills and the Chiefs, right? The Bills and the Chiefs understand this. Look, dude, we care about having the best record. We don't care about going undefeated. I got them losing to the Bills and beating the Chiefs, not because they're better than the Chiefs, but the Texans almost beat the Chiefs last year in the playoffs. We forget how well they played Kansas City in the playoffs. I think Kansas City and Buffalo and Ravens, teams like that, it's not that they haven't scheduled the games they're going to lose, but they realize, dude, we don't got to kill ourselves. We know where we're going to be in the end, and we're going to be competing against each other for number one, number two, as far as like that. Those type of teams are going to help. Teams like the Chargers, they don't really have an identity. They can go either way. Right.
And what identity they did have is hurt as hell right now. I mean, that Slater injury is huge.
Yes.
I had to talk about that way too much on the Bolt Blitz Uncut with Booga Peters. So, yeah, that's its whole thing.
And like I said, playing teams like the Cardinals and the Raiders, those type of things help you because we don't know who Kyler Murray is going to be by the time they play him. The Raiders, they could be scratching and clawing, to not be bottom feeders again in that AFC West. And that's going to be – so I'm looking at the schedule like that. Within the division, whenever they got the Jags Listen, when they got the Jags at home, I give them a shot. Jags on the road, I got them going back and forth with the Colts and the Jags. I got them beating the Titans. I mean, I'm gonna talk trash, but outside of me talking trash, it's gonna be much. And I think for this Houston team, either they've learned how to win the last 2 years, or they're gonna try to ride this momentum wave. And I don't know they want to do the momentum wave. I don't think they want to do that, because the thing about CJ Stroud, and people gonna get mad, CJ Stroud is good. I don't see greatness in CJ Stroud. Now he'll do some stuff that will wow you, and he'll do some stuff that go, what was that? And I think that's the thing about CJ is we look at what he was at Ohio State, and I ain't taking nothing from him. What did you win at Ohio State? And I'm talking about winning it all. I'm not talking about winning the conference. And every time you get to that, he sits back in his seat. Because I think the thing about CJ Stroud is CJ Stroud has always been on the best team with the best talent. Now he's on the best team with really, really good talent. But what's going to happen when the Jags are competitive? What's going to happen when the Colts are competitive? I don't think they're a better team. I don't think they're a better team without Anthony Richardson. I think they're a better offense with him. Because I mean, with Daniels, because I mean, only because I say that like this. I love what Anthony Richardson brings to the table, but he is consistent at being inconsistent at this point. You are just waiting on something to happen, right? And that's the crazy thing about it. Athleticism will get you drafted. It will also get you cut, because they're gonna be waiting to see it. They're gonna be waiting to see what Anthony Richardson is. And I think the thing about it is, you know, when they make their decision, who they're gonna go with. You saying, really? That's what y'all want a QB? No, we want stability. The very first play in the preseason, Anthony Richardson gets hurt from from football one-on-one blitzes. So he's coming from you're right-handed. He's coming from the strong side. They yelled Larry. The line is sliding left. You didn't know that. And let's say what it really is. Call it. If Anthony Richardson plays and he plays like that, he gonna get that whole front office fired, because you look incompetent as coaches. That's what. And Travis, Kyle, perception is reality in the league like no other sport.
Now that's a fact. I ain't gonna front on that in a minute. And by the way, I love the fact that I ain't even got to host my show for this part. You done segued right to the Colts.
I'm just saying,
I'm over here behind the curtain. My co-host is claiming I'm doing the show wrong, even though we got the order wrong and he can't admit it. Ed don't give a damn. He got the order right, even though Travis don't know what the order is. It's amazing. I can't.
All right.
I say all that to say because I love the fact that you just took the bull by the horns and took us to the Colts. That's where we're going next, fellas. And I'm going to use my first Ben Troupeism. People going to get mad, but when I look at the Colts schedule, and here's the thing, I'm going to stall a bit to buy myself time so I can pull this schedule up to make sure that what I'm going to say is something I can still say with my whole chest one more time. And I'm looking through here. I struggle to find 5 wins.
You struggle to find 5 wins?
I struggle to find 5 wins for the Indianapolis Colts, especially considering the aforementioned quarterback situation. Because say what you will about the AFC South. I love me some Jonathan Taylor. Let me be clear. Their O-line is way better than it used to be. Their defense has always been at least somewhat solid. Man, listen, how many times have I told you about how much I like the defensive tackles on this very show, Travis D. Holmes? But you still got to score points at some point. And I know you keep trying to sell me Indiana Jones. So, that Indiana Jones going to get whipped. And Danny Dimes ain't going to make it rain. He's going to make it hail. I'm just saying.
So I'm not as pessimistic about this Colts roster overall as you may happen to be, and I'm not really as pessimistic about this Colts schedule as you seem to be.
I'm pessimistic about 5 one wins. Part of the roster. Let me clarify that.
You seem to be pessimistic about Daniel Jones. Unfortunately, I also remember Daniel Jones in one season, and that one season I'm thinking about is 2022. I think this is the best roster surrounding Daniel. I know this is the best roster that Daniel Jones has had since that 2022 season where they went 9-6-1 with the Giants. So in my head, I'm like, no. This is a guy you can win with if you have a dominant run game. Well, do the Colts have that? Yeah, that's about right. Check, especially in this AFC South. And with a solid defense. Do the Colts have that? I don't know, but they got rid of Gus Bradley, so that's probably at least an arrow pointing up. I feel like that's reasonable saying that. So overall, with those two, those two characteristics and traits like added to the equation, I think Daniel Jones at that point can make you a 9-10 win quarterback. And I'm not saying that that's what I'm projecting for the Colts. I actually have them as 8 wins. It's just like I have the Texans at 8 wins, which I think is funny.
This is a pretty division in your prediction space. This is getting crazy.
Well, I thought it was going to be a dogfight earlier in the season, and that dogfight got even closer when I saw how horrible that Texans O-line was, and I saw these injuries start to stack up. Some of the things I thought might have been wins for the Texans early on became losses, and that just meant positive things for the Colts, unfortunately. So I think the Colts end up getting 8 wins from my perspective. I think Daniel Jones is enough because he can hit a slant, and that was something AR-15 couldn't do. At bare minimum, he can do that. Like make a basic NFL throw and not get injured in a preseason game on a basic blitz. I think that's reasonable. So overall, I think, both of those teams will have a sub 500 season, but that's also, at least a positive situation for them trying to find a quarterback next year.
Man.
Eight, I got him at 8 wins as well for this reason. Once again, Daniel Jones could have went anywhere in free agency. He said, I want to go to Colts. I think I could beat him out. And no one, and he, I don't know if he went anywhere else, but what does that say if you are Anthony Richardson and say, dude, number one, that's a slap in the face to the head coach in the front office for saying, he was the 4th overall pick. Yeah, I was the 6th. I was the 6th overall pick out of Duke, and people thought the same way of me as him. Who? You're gonna get that guy that high, right? I think the thing with Daniel Jones is understanding is this, dude. I'm just not here to mess this up. I'm not here to mess it up. You might not win, and it's a simple rule when it comes to certain aspects of sports. If you're not the reason we win, just don't be the reason we lose, and we good. And that's Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is saying, dude, can I do what Joe Flacco did? Yeah. Can I do what Matt Ryan did? Yeah. Can I do, what Phillip Rivers did? Matt Hasselbeck. These are the guys. Because he looked at a trend. He said, and I'm younger than all those dudes at this point in my career. Daniel Jones is trying to do the Sam Darnold. Hey, dude, I want to have a future in the league as a starter. It might not be with the Colts, but it's my job to put the Colts in a position to have to make a decision either in the draft or with me in free agency. And being in this division helps a lot. Because like I said, if the best team is the best team because of the division, not necessarily the talent, and when you got the running, when you got the running game that he has, this tight end, I think Warren is going to be nice the way they're going to find a way to use him. Michael Pittman, he's not a top 10 receiver, but he can do what Nico Collins does. He can do stuff like that. When you talk about can you feed him, and you got a defense that just won't complementary offense. It's usually the other way around. The defense is saying, look, man, we're going to give you opportunities. We're going to give you some 3 and outs. We're going to give you a chance to go out there and make some plays. And every time Daniel Jones go out there, you already know what to expect. The last thing I want in my quarterback is I don't know what to expect from him. And the thing about Anthony Richardson, not to pile on him, he'll make a throw that only he can make. I don't know if anybody can make that throw. And then he'll make a decision that only he will make. Like, I don't know what that is. So what Daniel Jones does is saying, hey, every quarterback in the National Football League has his own restaurant, and you like what he served. There is nothing nuanced about the menu. Good food now, good food. Anthony Richardson, it's a different menu every time you eat there. Dude, what's this? Y'all had the what's called last time. Yeah, we ain't got that this time.
Did you just call Anthony Richardson Seasons 52? Is that what just happened?
Listen. I'm calling Anthony Richardson Cheesecake Factory because he want to have a big menu. There's no way you can't find something on his menu. That's not a good menu when it look like a baby phone book. Give me a front and a back, and the front got wines on it, and the other side got appetizers and entrees. That's a menu. That's a menu. You go to Cheesecake Factory and go, dude, y'all sell more than cheesecake? What? Boy, we sell everything. What do you want? If we don't got it, we'll add it to the menu. I think that's what good quarterbacks do. You know what you're gonna get from them. And when they do something outside their character, you know it was an outlier. It was an outlier. Name any quarterback in the league with stability. I know what Pat Mahomes gonna do. I know what Lamar Jackson gonna do. I know what Jalen Hurts gonna do. I know what Burrow's gonna do. Those are your best quarterbacks in the league. You start getting from 6 to 10, they're not top 5, but they're just as good. Anybody can be from 11 to 32. You could any one of them, right? I think the thing though, when someone says, where does Anthony Richardson rank? He's in the bottom. He's 25 to 32. You can, Travis and Kyle, I don't care what type of team you got. And not that we should be looking at rankings. When my quarterback is down there, we got to play good as a team, right? And I think that the reason why Lamar Jackson didn't win MVP in 2024 is because Buffalo don't got nowhere near the offensive roster that the Ravens do, and he still put up those type of numbers. Mm-hmm. He still did what he did. Could you imagine if you got a subpar quarterback who's unpredictable and you don't know what he's going to do? Giving Baltimore Ravens, giving the Kansas City Chiefs roster, giving the LA Rams roster. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to make them think they ain't as good as players. Because they're like, dude, what's going on with y'all? Because a quarterback will affect the whole offense and the whole team because the defense got to believe in him. The head coach got to trust him. And your offensive teammates, they got to understand that what they say about you in private got to kind of resemble how they feel about you in public. It's got to kind of mirror each other, right? I'm not saying that my family members going to all love me in public, right? But what they say about me in private can't be totally different. Like, all right, I love you. He's the worst. Because that's kind of what goes on. And I think with Anthony Richardson, once again, I love Anthony Richardson. But here's the 2 words or 3 words that I think is dangerous in football. Intangibles, upside, and potential. Because intangibles is a word that doesn't really mean anything. It's when you don't know what to say. He got the intangibles. What does that mean? That's a soup that tastes good because it's hot. You don't even know what's in it. I don't even know what's in the soup. It's good though. It's cold outside. And I just think that for Anthony Richardson, like I said, when I knew he was going to go top 5 when he did what he did at the pro day. That's why you can't trust pro days. That's why pro days are very, very, very dangerous.
Man, that's a whole podcast in itself, dude, with dang pro days. Don't get me started. But and by the way, I want the record to show your evaluation of Anthony Richardson. You haven't even whispered the word injury yet, which to me, the best ability doesn't matter about pro days is the availability, and he ain't had it. And I've taken the Colts off the table for that, and you couldn't make it out the preseason. This is why my pendulum swings further than both you and Travis. And you talking about Danny Jones and all this other stuff. Hey, who to say he make it through the season? I'll throw that out there.
I'm trying to tell you, Quentin Nelson, I know he's really, really good. I don't know how good that O-line is, but let me tell you something. This was nobody. Did y'all see the podcast that Quentin Nelson was on? And they asked him who he wanted, and he said Anthony Richardson. He said, he said, where's my camera? I want Anthony Richardson, which means there's already division within that locker room because let me not call it division because I don't want to. I don't want to, but I will say this. Quentin Nelson is saying, look, it's not that my vote matters and my voice matters, but if it were up to me, I go with Anthony because if Daniel Jones doesn't look like 2022 and he's a Daniel Jones that tripped over his own feet on the RPO on Monday, I don't know if it was Monday night, just tripped over his own feet. This front office, this head coaching staff, they are nervous, and they should be, because you are picking a former number 6 pick who walked away from his walked away from his deal with the Giants, and that's what I hope he looks good, because if he don't, and you got to eat crow and go back to A-Rich, and A-Rich looks good, I don't know. Like I said, I love quarterbacks.
That's a hard sell, bro. Like y'all making it a hard sell from when I feel the need that I gotta speak up. It's a hard sell. Like I'm being real. Like I was trying to be like, nah. if you go to Daniel Jones, whatever his middle name is, and he doesn't look good, and you go to Anthony Richardson and he does look good, you have to presume that he's going to look good and only in short spurts, because we've seen enough of Anthony Richardson to at least have a general understanding of who he is right now, and probably for the foreseeable, like for the next year at least, until he gets some significant development in an offseason. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable at this point.
How can you do that when you're hurt? But that's a whole other question.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm just like, no. If Daniel Jones plays and he doesn't do well, cool. Then you just take him for the next quarterback. Because realistically, I think if you didn't give AR-15 this starting quarterback role, then you probably are already saying I'm out on him. You can't say it out loud, but you are out. I mean, at this point, he is already in that. What's the old quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers that was traded to Dallas Cowboys? I forget his name.
I just said Trey Lance, brother.
Oh, Trey Lance. There you go. Like that's it. You're already in that Trey Lance territory. Like, that's a wrap.
And you can't develop because you keep getting hurt, like Trey Lance.
And you know what's crazy? Listen, out of Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, all them dudes older than Anthony Richardson. He's younger than all of them. And the thing about it is this: what does Jaden Daniels, what does CJ Stroud, and Bo Nix, and all these quarterbacks, all these guys got in common? They played a lot of football in college. They played a lot. Some of them played on different teams. Anthony Richardson had 1 year, and that year they didn't even have an offense in Florida. They just let him go out there and wing it. He won 6 games and went 4th overall. Bryce Young had to win the Heisman. CJ Stroud had to make miracles happen over there at Ohio State, which means if Anthony Richardson wins 8-9 games and, dare I say, make a college football playoff, he would have won number 1 overall. He had a shot of going number. He went 4th based off of evaluators, and I mean this.
Well,
potential
because he wasn't Will Levis. Let's be real.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get me started. Listen, don't get. And check this out. He did the same thing Will Levis did at his pro day. You know, I guess throwing the ball to the top of the bubble and hitting the ceiling is a new thing now. I'm gonna say this about. I'm gonna give you one name for a pro day, and you're gonna Jamarcus Russell. His pro day is about as impressive as you're gonna see. But the next time I see Justin Herbert standing at the goal line, flat-footed, and throw a 70, I don't care. That's not realistic in the league. Like, who's doing that? And I think I'm always a fan of the player. Don't get it twisted. But if you got to watch my pro day intently, my game tape ain't that impressive. If you got to watch me out here, I'm like, wait a minute, man. You ain't seen me play last year. Yeah, but we want to see it again. You want to see what? I'm out here look, I got if you come to my house and play on my basketball, go to my house, I can make every shot because that's what I shoot on. I'm not the same at the YMCA though. I'm not the same at LA Fitness. Why? Because and what I'm saying is some of these guys, if you put them in a comfortable environment, they gonna shine. But what did the tape say? What did and to
the
all
combine,
my Florida,
the pro days, all these things, all these the circuit, all the off-season circuit, whether it's the combine, the pro days, etc. All these things are supposed to send you back to the tape. If you see a guy who jumps off the screen athletically, or you see a guy who's able to hit everything, every throw under the sun on a pro day, that's supposed to send you back to the tape, because the tape is king. Everything's supposed to be based on that. So the fact that you hit it on the head. Hey, if my pro day is something that is necessary, then obviously my tape wasn't where it was, and there better be a significant reason on tape that you can show me as to why I wasn't able to play well. Like, scheme-wise, coaching, players around me, something needs to be like screaming off that tape to let you know, like, no, I look bad because of that guy, Doug Peterson, whoever the guy is, like, whatever.
I mean, most players, when people ask what's a real evaluation of a quarterback, I say, well, I want at least 25 games in college. That means you started at least 2 years, made a bowl game. Because if you played in 7 or 8, and that's when you're healthy. Because even when he started, he got hurt a couple of games, and then he went 4th overall. Anthony Richardson has never played a full season in college or pro yet. He never played a full one. And I think that when you're doing real evaluation, you got to say, man, I got to look at the tape. You know who nobody wants to talk about for 2024, who was probably the most impressive? Bo Nix had a better rookie year than Jaden. Just go look at his numbers and what he did, right? I am not saying Bo Nix is better than Jaden Daniels. I'm saying most of us ain't watching Denver because of Russ. We ain't really want to look. That boy was out there getting, and did he make the playoffs? He did make the playoffs. And I think that sometimes we act like that when people talk about certain people enough, we don't fall in love with them based off what we hear. Everybody, not to pile on this young man, everybody thought that Arch Manning was going to look like a world beater, right? Arch Manning ain't played against nobody. Hey, hold on. When people say when Arch Manning has not played against nobody, and I'm just saying, I only judge players when the other team meets the talent threshold. That's how I look at it. Ohio State meets it. But Matt Patricia said, boy, let me show y'all what a defensive coordinator really is supposed to look like. And I'm just saying, for a guy like Anthony Richardson, for guys like they judge Anthony and how they judge Lamar Jackson. It shouldn't be that way. But they looking at skill sets. Follow me though, Trav. I'm not saying they judging his production. They saying anytime Lamar want to take over a game, he will let you remember, I'm the best player right here now. Don't get it twisted. With Anthony Richardson, that's what athleticism is. That means, hey, dude, you got something that most players don't. What? You got a switch. The problem is we've never seen it. Because once you don't believe me, Lamar Jackson, why did they get that offense real similar to what he did in Louisville? If I did it with no players around me,
game. Yeah, play the same game.
So for Anthony Richardson, you can't do something like that because he didn't really have an offense that fit what he's going to need in the league. And guess what? When everybody thought it's not going to work, Lamar Jackson has led the league in passing efficiency. He's already got 2 MVPs, right? He's done everything but win a super duper. And I know everybody wants to do everybody got a documentary now. Saquon got one. I know they got it. If Lamar Jackson win a Super Bowl, that's going to be the greatest 30 for 30 because this dude has done it. He won. What's on your resume, young man? I won the Heisman in Louisville. The Louisville Cardinals? Yeah. How old were you? I was 19 years old. Stop playing, man. I just think that I don't judge every quarterback the same. I don't think that's fair. But we live in a world that that Jalen Hurts is not considered a top 10 quarterback with his resume because they're going to say it's the guys around him, right? It's the guys around him. Yet, if Joe Burrow won a Super Bowl, he don't got to win MVP. If Josh Allen won a Super Bowl, he don't got to win MVP. They're going to be going crazy because I think we pick already, not us, who we already want to make the face. And if the NFL is scripted, like they say, why didn't the Eagles follow the script of 2024? You know they wanted Kansas City to go to 3-peat, right? You know that, right? Man, stop.
Listen. I first of all, don't get me started on NFL media. But listen, there's a lot there with Anthony Richardson. I'm going to have to pull the plug on you, Ben. We do got to get going. And of course, next on the line is us talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I'm going to make a reference back to something we talked about last time, Ben. And before we get into talking about the Jaguars, listen, I know last time Ben was on, he had some things to say about the tight ends and Evan Ingram and all that. But here's the thing. And I know we touched on this before. We're going to get into it again because I think it's going to be part of the Jaguars' success. I think the Jaguars proved in the preseason here that they have the right tight ends. And, they went through some troubles to figure it out. Sure, they miss Evan Ingram, but they found the right guys. And I don't know, they were so successful at finding the right guys. You might think that they use ZipRecruiter, which is what you should do when you're looking for candidates for your business or organization. That's right. We know that it's just a difficult thing to do when you're trying to hire the right person. You got to sift through all these resumes. You got to try to reach out to these people. And it's really hard to find the person with the right skills.
Well, the future of hiring looks brighter because ZipRecruiter's latest tools and features help speed up finding the right people for your roles. So save valuable time and you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/audio. And just so you know, ZipRecruiter helps you find the best, most qualified candidates in minutes. And if they're the great candidate you think they are, and maybe you find out they're a Tennessee Titans fan. Now, I know that makes you a little bit sad, but that's okay because you can still unlock their contact information instantly, and they have over 300,000 new resumes uploaded their monthly. I believe it's actually like 320,000. And you can help those candidates fill those roles sooner. So it's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site based on G2. Hit up ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Come on.
That's right. Use ZipRecruiter and save time hiring. 4 out of 5 employers who post with ZipRecruiter have quality candidates within the first day. And if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio right now, you can try it for free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smarter way to hire. See, Ben, and that's how you know we love you. That's the first time we did an ad read inspired by the guest, just so you know that.
You know, I mean, Trav just had to throw that jab. I mean, he had to throw it in there. I'm in the back going.
I mean,
but you know what?
Is it illegal to fire somebody for being a Tennessee Titans fan? I need to get the answer to that question.
Titans fans are not a protected class. That's
all right. There we go. There we go.
Right. I mean, listen, as long as listen, if it's illegal, I mean, can we fire them? I mean, it's all good. I mean, you know, we got to get back. The Titans got to get back to some respectability before my trash talk gonna have any type of oomph to it. It's really been Will Levis. I blame you. I love you, but I blame you for the last couple of years for that. Outside of when we play the Texans, ain't really nothing to talk about. Outside, we the real Houston team. You know, ain't nothing to really go off of. I mean, the only headline that stuck out in all season for my Titans was the fake fight with Jeffrey Simmons and Cam Ward. That's not a Jeffrey. Tell us about the fight. Well, the fact that Cam Ward wouldn't even look my way in real life and we weren't football players. There's nothing to talk about. Cam versus Jeffrey. Does it sound like Jeffrey gonna lose in real life? His name is Jeffrey. Cam will get the hell beat out of him. Let's stop the nonsense, man. Let's stop it. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear people ad tweeting me like, Ben, did you see the fight? Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons. That's how I feel about the fight.
That's such a great take. But let me drag back into it. I did want to touch on the tight end piece. Obviously, you know, we've talked about that a bit. And I think the more of the Liam Coen offense I see, the more I kind of appreciate how they found the right hands. And this is the point I keep making when it comes to something like this. Sometimes both sides can win. I feel like the Jags did that here. I feel like Evan Ingram won by not only ending up with the Broncos, but being a part of a group that also, by the way, I love any opportunity to mention RJ Harvey, by the way, but then a guy like Bo Nix, who's good at using the tight end, now has an even better guy to do it with in a Sean Payton offense. This is a guy that gave us Jimmy Graham. I think Liam Coen got what he needed to build the offense that he wanted, that we want to see. And we haven't even brought up the Jags defense. We'll get there in a minute. But Evan Ingram, I think also as well, won the day with that exchange. And I shared in your concerns that you had, maybe not as vehemently as you, because I'm not a tight end at the highest level as you were, sir. It's not my craft. Listen, my craft's on the wall behind me, my Aaron Evans original painting behind me with my offensive lineman days. But yeah, I feel like I see that match fitting before we move to the Jags defensive question. I don't know if more time bubbling over the topic has adjusted your approach to it at all.
It has. I'm gonna keep saying this. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and this is why I'm wrong. I am a person that hates comparison, and I shouldn't compare the current tight end to the past. Evan Ingram found a home in the Jags, so where he just fit. Like, I think he made life great for everybody around him. But Liam Coen is saying, look, the one thing I know that the quarterback that I inherited in Trevor Lawrence needs is a safety blanket. A tight end does not have to be George Kittle. It doesn't have to be, Travis Kelce to be effective, right? To be effective. And I think what Liam Coen is saying, look, my tight ends I had with the Bucs, they weren't world beaters, but that's Baker Mayfield, how much he appreciated them getting him out of jams, right? And I think that's what you want. What I look for with Strange and company is effectiveness. Like, when you are effective, that means that, yeah, man, we ain't gonna wow nobody in the box score, but look at how efficient we are. Because everybody, listen, when you got Thomas and Hunter and Brown, that's a lot of attention. Hey, I'm over one-on-one. First down. They look who can't cover everybody, can't game plan everybody. So yeah, and I think exactly. And I think, and once again, the tight end position has become more of an it position as of late. When you got $20 million tight end with George Kittle and Trey McBride. So I get that part, but I'm saying $10 million. Yeah. Bowers is a freaking mutant what that young man could do. I just think that when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And when I'm wrong about the tight end position, which we got tight end you now up there in Nashville, shout out to George Kittle and Greg Olsen and Travis Kelce. I guarantee you, Liam Coen is going to say our offense will be directly tied to tight end production. If you look at the best offenses in the division, look at what the tight ends do as a whole. Because whenever you got two, that means you don't got to put pressure on one. But you only got one. He got to live up to it. I like what y'all going to have. And like I said, once again, not to go about my Titans again, but Chick Wozen, Chiggs up there with the Titans. Love Chiggs, man. But it's almost like, did y'all know that Chiggs and Evan Ingram both went to the same high school in Georgia?
No, I did not know that.
Same high school in Powder Springs. Love you, Chiggs. Went to the same one, and I think that.
But we will get to the Titans.
Yeah. But I'm going to make this point when it comes to hearing you talk anything about the Jags in a positive light. I think it's kind of strange.
Hold on. Let me say
that man says. Britain says Evan Ingram found a home in Jacksonville when unfortunately the home was demolished, and it is now being redone. And unfortunately, he can no longer live in this house while they are doing this rehab. So they've changed it up. It's a new owner. He got evicted. I'm sorry. It's unfortunately this is how it works. So nevertheless, he doesn't fit in this new home because of his ability to block. His skill set just doesn't fit.
And this home became an apartment that's subletted by multiple tight ends. So I get it.
I guess, yeah. I guess that's what it comes down to.
If you can compare to Jimmy Graham though, Travis, we all know one thing: Jimmy Graham was the truth in the pass game, but the run game.
That was dreadful. He was.
I didn't say he was dreadful.
No, in the run game. In the run game.
Yeah, I think that I think that now you don't want to be the tight end known as a one-trick pony. You don't want that. At one point, it was okay to no one's ever going to say that Tony Gonzalez was a great blocker, but he blocked for Priest Holmes and Larry Johnson, so his resume looks better. Who was on there?
Yeah, right? I find it interesting. We're talking about Jimmy Graham's ineffectiveness when he was helping a guy run that was a deuce. Interesting. Just saying.
So, we referenced this Jacksonville Jaguars defense on a few different occasions. So we wanted to at least give PJ Brown a quick shout out on X, who stated in our mailbag episodes, and we didn't get to it, but we told him we would. My question is, do you think Anthony Campanelli's defense will be good enough to make the playoffs this year? Because I honestly believe so. And that's the question of the hour, honestly, from my perspective, because I think Liam Coen's offense is absolutely going to be good enough to give this Jacksonville Jaguars, especially in this AFC South, a realistic fighting chance to put up, 25 to that 30-point range more games than not. So then you have to ask that key question is Anthony Campanelli going to be the right guy in the 2025 season? He can be the right guy eventually with it, once he gets his guys, but in 2025, is he going to be that guy? If you want to believe that second week of the preseason against New Orleans, the second game?
The Saints was the second game, yeah.
The Saints second game.
Before, yeah.
And the way that he was putting those blitzes together, and then that week 3 game against the Miami Dolphins starters. If he's running things like that, that's real Brian Flores that feels very good. Now again, you want to see it with your guys, you want to see it with your dogs, and again, you want to see it against starters. But if he's going to be doing fancy blitzes in those ways and kind of putting guys in coverage in those different ways that you generally don't see, I'll believe. I'll believe it. I like to see a good pencil whipping from a defensive coordinator, because you don't see that very often. So if you're going to show me that in preseason and you're going to move that over to the real games, I believe it. But I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Kyle.
No, I mean, for me, you put the point together nicely. And how good is good enough have to be? The bar is set so low, and so long as you're not running a hockey rotation on your offense and having Eric Armstead run 61% of snaps at defensive end, I think you got a fighting chance, sure.
My boy Kyle says the bar is in hell. That's it. The bar is below the ground. Jeez. All right, yeah, that's how bad it was for Jacksonville Jaguars defense last year. I got you.
if y'all Jags defense, like I said, if y'all Jags defense, I think the thing about it is when you ask how good is good, I think that's a great question because any great defense to me means if you blitz a lot, that means your D-line ain't getting there. That means we got to generate pass rush with the front seven, not the front four. Now, if I do blitz a lot, I'm putting a lot of pressure on that back end, which means I got to have bookend corners that can hold up, right? I think the Jags defense is going to figure out their identity by week 7 or 8. It ain't going to be the first month. But if you can establish an identity, that being with your front four, that means Devin Lloyd and company, right, can help Campbell and those guys on the outside. A defensive coordinator has a lot of pressure on them because really, really good teams, they be talking about Vic Vagiani, they be talking about Spagnuolo. People know the D coordinators now. Hey, dude, what's up with the DC? If they know who your DC is in Jacksonville, it's either one because you're doing real good or you not. There will be no in between. And once again, people talk about sleeping giants, right? This Jag defense get the rocking. That's gonna be a problem for the AFC South because people are thinking it's gonna be the offense. Everybody thinking it's gonna be the offense with the tight end, Travis. I don't like giving the Jags all this love, but once again, I remember when the Jags defense was nasty good. Not good. Bookend cornerbacks, bookend safeties. Mike Peterson made every tackle. He made every freaking tackle, right? That's before you get to Marcus Stroud, right? I'm just telling y'all, man, I'm not saying this defense is that. I'm not saying the defense is that. I'm just saying, Travis, when a defense has an identity, that bodes well for the whole team because that means you got postseason aspirations. When that offense, man, we hear. Let me say this right. I didn't say you're gonna go to the post. I said you got postseason aspirations, which means. Let me tell you something. My nephew plays for Kennesaw State. They played Wake Forest. They lost 10-9. You know what 10-9 means? We could have won. We lost 10-9 against the ACC team and win the Conference USA. For the Jags, what's going to hurt them this year is when they lose them single-digit game, like single-digit scores. You lost by 2. You lost by 1.
3-10 last year in such games, by the way, Ben.
All I'm saying is this. As long as Trevor Lawrence if it's 4th and 1 on the goal line and you're supposed to hand it off to Tank Bigsby or Etienne, don't try to jump over the pile, Trevor. Don't do that. Because that's how you win and lose games. If you are the defense, you're saying to yourself, how many extra possessions can we get to offense? And how many turnovers can we average a game? That's good defense to the point where you don't believe me in 2002, not to go back that far, John Gruden's glory year. He told D. Brooks and all them, y'all so good on defense, why don't y'all score? What happened that year? Oh, shoot. Derek Brooks, defensive player of the year. So I'm telling you, real good defenses, they score points too. They don't just stop the other team from scoring. And I think you got to put that type of pressure because what I'm saying is if you want to be good, win games. You want to be great, be defensive, be dominant on defense. Those teams, because
the reason I said Brian Flores earlier was a very specific reason because I want to make sure we also recognize the makeup of this team is following behind the Rams, and you could also even say in a secondary way they're following behind the Vikings. They do things differently. There's no one way as far as how they run their defenses. Like the Rams defense is not run like the Vikings defense. So you can say, hey, they're going to run the same offensive system, but defensively they're going to be a little bit different. And the reason I use the Vikings specifically when I'm like, oh no, you don't see a lot of teams run blitzes in this way, especially in preseason. You don't see guys like crowding the line in that way in Anthony Campanelli's pass stop in Green Bay Packers, but you absolutely see that for the Vikings. Well, okay, cool. And then that makes me stop and think, well, let's look at that Vikings roster because that Vikings roster was not stacked. They had Shaq Griffin at cornerback with Brian Murphy Jr. Like, they don't have to have the guys when you putting dudes under that kind of phantom pressure because you're lining up 7 and 8 guys on every damn snap. And they at that point, they don't know what to do as far as protections. They got to get the ball quickly away. And the Jaguars happen to actually have Tyson Campbell. They have Jordan Lewis. They have Jarian Jones. They have Travis Hunter. So they got guys back there who can just make the tackles and line up while also still being able to put dudes under phantom pressure without necessarily having the dogs up front. So there's multiple ways to build this bad boy and to win it without just saying I have the most dominant players like Philadelphia, for instance.
But that's the thing, though. You just said it, though, right? People don't think that Minnesota Vikings defense, right? You know what Minnesota has had for a long time that people forget about? Harrison Smith is still doing it. Mm-hmm. Harrison Smith was born in the 80s. He's surrounded by a bunch of 2000. He's playing with babies born in the 2000s. This boy
he's a VCR safety, Troupe.
He's
a VCR safety.
But let me listen. I'm gonna tell you the one that makes that defense go for Minnesota. Jonathan Grenard. Jonathan Grenard is not a household name. Him and Danielle Hunter flip-flop, and they didn't miss a beat. Danielle Hunter went to Houston. Jonathan Grenard left Houston and went to Minnesota. But that's the thing, right? I don't need an alpha dog on my defense. I need personnel that believes in the scheme and can execute the scheme. Because when it's done right, man, that defense and people say, why they don't go deep into the defensive playbook? Because dude, we gotta get really good at the normal stuff. The normal ordinary lineup, get off the field on third down. Then, hey man, let's unleash these guys. I think once again, if you're talking about exotic defense in Jacksonville, that's gonna hurt Daniel Jones. That's going to show her Cam. And I don't know what it's going to do for C.J. Stroud, but I remember the Wildcat was working until Bill Belichick shut it down with Ronnie Brown. It was working at first, and then it shut down. I think the thing about exotic defense is this. When it works, it is a beautiful thing. But does your DC have enough in the bag, and will Liam Coen let him go in that bag and say, look, if this don't work, can I do this? If that don't work, can I do it? Because that's all defense is experimentation. We experiment with stuff, and as long as you winning, it's cool. And as long as you, I mean this respectfully, as long as you don't look bad losing, you can't look bad losing. What's it gonna hurt?
But that's also Flores. Flores struggles every time he plays against. There are certain teams. The Lions is one of them. They just got his number. Whenever he plays against the Lions, they Jared Goff just knows how to dice up that defense. Like there are certain guys who just got it. They understand it. You're gonna have to play basic defense against them because you can't do all the fancy blitzes. They're gonna catch you off guard every time. So I'm with you overall. You can't be looking bad at doing it, but also just know there are some teams you're gonna play against, and hey man, they got your number. They might not even be the best team.
There's going to be some quarterbacks you play against where exotic blitz ain't going to be the answer. I wouldn't be trying that against, for example, Patrick LaVon Mahomes II or Joseph.
I get it. But I think the Eagles just showed you last year. Certain players have such a respect level. You just play them straight up. Like, dude, you because if he dices you up, people gonna be like, well, dude, does this? Because once again, I'm only judging you on teams that has a quarterback above the neck that Tom Brady was the best because he knew what you was doing. I'm not gonna snap the ball him and Peyton Manning until there's about 3 or 4 seconds left. You got to show your cards 3 or 4 seconds left on the play clock. And I think the thing, but once again, does it work in your division? Because you got to do it. The goal.
I was going to make that point.
The goal is to win your division. If you win your division, and Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or or Josh Allen, they ripped you up. They're gonna rip a lot of people up. That's gonna happen. But out of Joe, Lamar, Patrick, and Josh Allen, you just got to do it to one of those dudes, because that's your validator. Hey, dude, I know we look bad against them, right? But look at what we did to this dude, because I guarantee you, it's gonna work on one of them, not all of them. Because Lamar Jackson is an incredible. You think people care about Lamar Jackson regular season anymore? They don't. What you gonna do in the postseason, right? Exactly. I think the thing about it is this: if you look real good doing it week 3, 4, do you have an encore though? Because you can't put the same tape out each week. Are you willing to be vanilla, to be complex, to come back with that Neapolitan? Can you do that? And I think that's coaching. When someone says, "Dude, we'll run the same play all year for one play in the playoffs. We're gonna run the same play." Because you don't believe me. When Malcolm Butler got the pick in the Super Bowl, they ran that in practice. Hey, dude, if they do this, they're gonna try to do. But only Bill Belichick knew it would come. That's football. That's football. Yeah. Listen, I was blessed enough to interview Urban Fryer, the Urban Fryer that played for Nebraska, that went #1 overall. When they lost the national championship to Miami, they tried to run a 2-point conversion. Later on, he met that defensive coordinator. He said, "Hey, dude, y'all only ran a 2-point conversion one time during the year, and that's the one y'all ran. Had y'all done something different, y'all would have scored. We planned for one play, and y'all ran it." That's coaching when you saying, "Dude, I'm that stubborn, And I think, and once again,
that's right. When I'm that stubborn, I don't run Skittles up the middle when it's the most obvious damn thing to do.
Listen, I'm just telling. Hey, listen, Pete Carroll had a shot to be legendary, and he chose to want Russ. He wanted Russ Wilson. You wanted him to be an MVP that bad? Come on, man. You could have beat Tom Brady in a year after you demolished Peyton, man. And I lived in New Jersey. I lived real close to the Meadowlands. I was there. I wasn't there, but I'm saying it, man. That's the only Super Bowl that will ever be played in New Jersey. It'll never be played in New Jersey ever again because they thought it was gonna be Peyton Manning's swan song, and it just didn't happen.
But yeah, but just so y'all know, I don't even want to say my prediction out loud. I want folks to go to bigcatcountry.com and check it out because it's already on the site.
You can abstain. That's fine. I got no beef with that.
I will abstain. I abstain from saying my prediction out loud. But let me just say, playoffs, maybe.
I can say mine out loud.
Yeah.
But
I believe,
but I do want to put this up here. At least I want to show folks this is what Liam Coen has done in his history as an actual play caller. I want to be very clear in saying as a play caller, not as an offensive coordinator, since he wasn't the offensive coordinator at his time at his first stop at the LA Rams. But in 2020, Kentucky was 5-6. In 2021, in his first year there, they went 10-3. In 2022, they were 7-6. They went 7-6 the next season, so that was no material change other than they scored a lot more points, but their defense was terrible. In 2023, the Bucs went 9-8. 2024, they went 10-7. 2024, the Jacksonville Jaguars were 4-3, and that's the question of the hour: is like, what are they going to be in 2025?
4-13 and 3-10 in 1-point games, by the way, or 1-score games, right?
Right. 10 losses in 1-score games. Wow.
Listen,
yeah,
10
y'all
losses,
got it.
I got the Jags, and I'm just believing in what they're doing right now. I got them going 10-7. I can see them winning 10 games because once again, I think confidence is built in the division, and that's what you carry on the road outside the division. Now, the way they got their schedule is a little bit different, but once again, man, we forget. Trevor Lawrence doesn't lack ability. It's you just don't know what's been going on with him. Like, dude, what's up with you? Like, what? Like, and I think the thing is, we're not many moons removed from people talk about hype coming out. Andrew Luck, I remember when Trevor Lawrence came out. This dude, everybody said one thing about Trevor Lawrence: he had to learn how to deal with losing because he ain't never lost before. He ain't losing high school, he ain't losing college. And I'm not saying he didn't handle it right. I'm saying he tried to start doing. You don't got to live up to the contract. We know if you pan out as a number 1 overall pick, you're gonna set the market when you sign. Kyler Murray did it. It's gonna happen. I think for him, I think Liam is telling Trevor, dude, I know ain't nobody ever told you this. Just don't lose it for us. If you just play within the confines, man, we gave you weapons. De'Ami Brown is on a 1-year deal. Brian Thomas is the best receiver in the 2024 draft. I love you, Malik Neighbors. It was Brian Thomas. He was nasty good. And I'm giving you this sensation, Travis Hunter. I don't know if Tank Bigsby going to end up being the starter at the end of the year over Etienne, but I'm giving you weapons. I don't know how good the offensive line is. We're going to have to see. But if Trevor Lawrence can play loose because he don't got to play, like Fridge is saying, it's one thing when you say, I got to play good. When you saying, I just got to be efficient. Yeah. Efficiency wins the AFC South.
Right. You're giving that man permission just to quote unquote just be Brock Purdy. That's all you have to be.
Just breathe. Exactly.
Listen. Not to give him any love, but there's a quarterback now that started off in Green Bay. He was with the Jets last year. Now he with Pittsburgh. He said this thing. He says RELAX. Man, just relax, man. Because if Trevor Lawrence is relaxed, I believe that I know that Baker Mayfield wakes up dangerous. I don't know if he's still saying that. For a Trevor Lawrence, have we ever seen him play relaxed? I'm talking about mentally. To say, hey, dude, you got your money. You ain't on the hot seat. You ain't got to worry about getting cut. Dude, just chill. Because if he does that, I think that's because certain players it's got to be above the neck for them. You ask Trevor Lawrence, dude, you got a clean slate now, my guy. I ain't had nothing to do with Doug Peterson, Urban Meyer. I ain't had nothing to do with that stuff. But now, if In the public, Liam Coen gonna say the right thing. In private, he gonna look at Trevor Lawrence and say, "Dude, you ain't better than CJ Stroud. You can't outplay him." Because when you do it to, because in the city, like, why you ask me that? Because if we got the best quarterback in the division, that usually leads to the best team. Pick a division, name the best quarterback. Who you think gonna win it? Now I get it in the AFC North. People say it's a Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. It's Lamar. You know it's Lamar. And I love Joe. We still living off that Joe Burrow Super Bowl run with the worst offensive line ever, and they went to the Super Duper. I'm just saying, for Trevor Lawrence, you say to yourself, dude, I'm telling you, you can relax. I'm not saying be loose with the football. I'm saying don't do that stuff that we all be going, dude, what are you doing? And if he does that, I think Travis Hunter gonna be the talk of it. No matter, Travis Hunter can have 4 catches for 20 yards, and they're going to show it all day on SportsCenter because he's Travis Hunter. But I think that for this Jaguars team, I think the theme this year is, hey, yo, Trevor, we got you. Like, because if we don't, it's going to be a long season anyway. But at the end of the day, it's weird saying the Texans are the best team in the division. That's just weird to say. It's true, but it's weird to say. Or maybe they have.
I don't want to give away too much of my stuff on that Big Cat Country article, but I will say I think something's going to happen in this conference that hasn't happened since the 2014 season. Like, I think for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I don't know if it's going to be terrible or if it's going to be great, but it's going to be something. So I think folks should just read the article, but also you should absolutely just keep it locked in because we're going to be talking about this all season. But that's my prediction for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it's going to be an interesting season no matter how you want to slice it.
Yeah, I will, and we've all given our predictions here on the Jags in the past. I say 8 wins. If they get 9, I believe they win the playoff, or they win and get into the playoffs on the strength of that, thus making my take at one point, which was considered the crackheadiest take, as questioned by NSFB in the Discord group.
Discord, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. But Ben, we're an hour in. It's time for you to talk to me about your Titans, man. I'm going to lead with this for my prediction. I'm not even going to give you a win total.
Yeah.
The Titans are third place in the division. That's my prediction.
I will say this about the Titans, right? The Titans this year, because you always got, I try to do the 4 C's when it comes to division. You got the culture, that's Houston, right? I mean, you got curious. I'm curious about the Colts. The constant is the Jags. The Jags are the team that everybody expected to take. And you got the last C, concerned. I'm very concerned about the Titans. Here's why. You don't pick number 1 overall when your team was good last year. You pick number 1 overall because your team was the worst. Statistically, I will say this about the Titans when it comes to Cam Ward. You're going to have to live with the mistakes. Because Cam Ward, if you've seen him play, he does things because he's too confident in his arm. Sometimes he is, but sometimes it's just not there. Cam Ward has to live with just dumping the ball off. You don't got to push the ball every time. He's going to try to, but I will say this about a Titans team too, man. Until you get an identity, it's going to be a long year for them because I just look at what Derrick Henry's doing for Baltimore. You didn't have to get rid of him. I'm just looking at what A.J. Brown is doing for the Eagles. You didn't have to get rid of him. Kevin Byard was a first-team all. You didn't have to get rid of him. And Harold Landry, you didn't have to get rid. You're getting rid of some of your best players, and you putting a lot of pressure on regular players. They good, they professionals, but they're not that. Yeah, you got Jeffrey Simmons. I'm gonna say this about Jay Simmons. Beast. No one's afraid of him. Like, he's gonna get his stats, but one guy can't beat you on a defense, even if he's an interior lineman. Right. Even if he's an interior lineman.
I know one man who's afraid of him. That's the poor fool who's got to try to block him.
So I will say this about my Titans. I see them being very, very competitive for this reason. Everybody knows when you got the number 1 overall pick at quarterback, you're going to have to – he's still a rookie. He's going to show some flashes. Coach Callahan, I don't know what type of coach he is yet. I really, really don't. The identity of any team starts with the coach. If somebody says, Bill Callahan, it's like a question mark. And I think it is. I think for the Titans, they're going to have to figure out real quick how they fit in this division. Because I like that, though, Kyle. You want to be third, right? You want to be third. But are you real close to fourth? Like, how close are you to being last? Because, I mean, what? 5-12 is an awful year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is. And for those who don't know, listen, my first year in the league, we went 4-12. The next year we went 5-11. We improved if you want to look at it like that. And you know why we lost that many games? Because our veterans were 22-23. When I was on the Titans, we were some of the youngest on the team, and we were some of the veterans on the team because they got rid of guys. Veteran leadership matters. And I love the fact that Cam Ward is a vocal leader. It better be more than him. It better be more than him. Because people be thinking, why do you need certain players, man? You need certain players because culture is the locker room. Culture is what you are when you are at your worst. Culture is what is going to sustain you. I know Will Levis got hurt. Cam Ward was probably going to be the starter anyway. I think he beats him out. I'm just interested to see how they look against the Jags, the Colts, and the Texans. I want them to win outside of the conference. But we was talking about the Jags earlier. If 9-8 is going to win the division, that means you're going to host a playoff game with a team that had a better record than you. It doesn't matter. People are 11 and it doesn't matter if you win your division. Somebody got to come see me. And anything can happen then. So for the Titans, I think it's going to be how I said with the Jags, it's how you look when you lose. With the Titans, it's how you look, period. How are you going to – because ain't nobody coming. Like, Cam is who y'all latching y'all wagons up to, and I think he's a good pick. But you are what the tape says you are, not your stats. You are what the tape says you are, and I'm just looking for the Titans to be competitive, game in and game out. You know why? Because when Dan Campbell went to the Lions, he said, "Before we win, we gonna compete." Well, they was competing, now they winning, and Dan Campbell did it at other places. I get it. Guys like Coach Callahan, I mean, I respect the fact that he's the head coach, but sometimes you be like, dude, sometimes these hotshot coordinators, I get that's how you get a head coaching job. I get it. But sometimes you be like, dude, like, I don't, because number one, your first line of business, you get rid of Derrick Henry. That's what you do first? Come on, man. So I don't like it when coaches don't want their legacy to be tied to a player. Well, every good coach does, right? Every good coach. You know, I'm just saying, you think Harbaugh don't love the fact that he had Joe Flacco, now he get to say I got Lamar? I don't get that part. But with my Titans, I just think that they're going to be bottom feeders, man. Even if it's going to be a long year. It's going to be one of those things that the Titans are going to be like when Kansas City and Baltimore lose. They're going to say, they beat who? I'm telling that's how it's going to be this year because they got Calvin Ridley. I get it. Traylon Burks could not make this roster because of injury. He's gone. He's gone, right? I get it. DeAndre Hopkins, gone. I think for the Titans, they don't want to have big name veterans that they can lean on. They want to have guys that aren't household names that just play hard. So it's gonna be a long year for my Titans, man. I get it. I just think for me, if they end up better than the Colts, if they end up better than a better record, that's a win because
it ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna stop you there, brother. It ain't gonna happen. I'm a hater, and I know I might be a hater, but that don't mean I'm lying. It ain't gonna happen.
Like, hold on. Yes, it can.
6 games, bro.
What if Daniel Jones gets hurt and Anthony got to come in?
Titans still ain't winning more than 6 games.
This is a successful year. Cam Ward plays in every game. That's a successful year. If he enters every game, because the new thing now with quarterbacks is, dude, they don't finish the season. And think about it. Every time your quarterback don't finish the season, it's gonna hurt. So if Cam Ward plays in all 18 games, he's upright. I'm not even going. And people say, man, he probably gonna have a Peyton Manning type rookie season. I hope not. I hope he don't got paid. Peyton Manning had 17 picks his rookie year. I don't want that. I don't want that. But you know.
But you originally said that you don't know as far as Brian Callahan what kind of coach he's going to be, what kind of leader he is, and what kind of play calling, and all of these things.
I don't.
I had an argument with the general of Mike Patton when Brian Callahan was hired, because I'm like, Brian Callahan is going to have to be one of those leader offensive minds, because he had never called plays since his time as a high school coordinator. And I'm like, no. So this dude hadn't called plays in the NFL or in college. And that was his first time calling plays in the 2024 3-win season. So in my head, I'm like, that's not very encouraging. Like, I know he's an offensive coordinator for Cincinnati Bengals, but you ain't calling plays. That's the Taylor. That's the Press Taylor brother out there doing it. So that's not the same thing. So I'm like, yeah, Cam might be well this year, but he might not be playing for Brian Callahan in 2026. Like, that's what my mind immediately is. So overall, I'm just like, hey man, 6 wins is great for this.
It is
for this Tennessee Titans team.
But
I don't think they're beating. I don't think they're beating what the Colts are putting down. Like, I don't see them in the 8-win territory.
If you're saying 6 wins, you got them whipping the Colts' butt in my prediction. So hey, I'm already right. Thank you, Travis. Moving on.
I mean, but when it comes to head coaching hires, I'll never ever understand why certain guys. I understand the hot shot offensive defensive coordinator, but Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, like, you're gonna get credit for guys that are legit, and I get it. Super Bowl runs and that kind of stuff happens. I am not mad at Callahan, right? But here's the thing, though. Sometimes you just meant to coach one side of the ball. You ain't meant to coach the squad, and people don't like to admit that. People saying, "Man, the most I've ever been is a D coordinator in the NFL." You get Spagnuolo is a good example. When he was a head coach, that ain't what I'm built to do. On one side of the ball, man, I'm dominant. And I think the thing about it is, when it comes to Brian Callahan, I respect the fact that you're the head coach. I don't respect what you do, though, because you got to. If players got to prove it, coaches definitely got to prove it, right? We all pros, right? I always say this. Is Andy Reid better at what he does than Patrick Mahomes? I say yeah, because he did it in two cities, 2 teams. I did it with people thought that when I left Philly, and I did it. So I think that when I look at a guy like Brian Callahan, I respect the fact that you're the head coach of the Titans, but where's the pedigree? What do we got to look forward to? And that's all I'm saying. With Liam Coen did some stuff. He wanted to be the Jags head coach, and they wanted him to be the stuff he did to become the head coach. But his but allegedly, I'm sorry. I don't want to. We don't want no character. We don't want no. I don't want to be getting no cease and desist over here. I don't want none of that. But I will say though, he did it with Baker Mayfield though. Like, Baker Mayfield is a bona fide winner, and he kept the culture going. Brian Callahan said, "Yeah,"
and he did it with Will Levis in Kentucky to make him a draftable prospect.
But you know what's crazy about that part though? Just because it worked in college don't mean it's gonna work in the league, man. People need to stop doing that. Hey, man,
I ran the ball. Excuse me. I covered this team. I believe that was for the 3-point conversion at the bowl game here. I believe it was the Citrus Bowl. If it wasn't the Pop-Tarts Bowl, it's still the Camping World. I forget which. But they ran that ball. Wendell Robinson caught a nice pass, sure. They ran the ball. Let's be clear.
What did the Buccaneers do in 2023? Sorry, 2024.
Will Levis.
No. We're saying apples to apples comparisons.
No. You have this all wrong.
2021 season.
I'm telling you that Will Levis is good because on the backs of something else. And now, if you're saying I'm saying that about Baker Mayfield, okay, fine.
I'm saying both teams ran the ball like crazy, and they needed to make sure they had balance, and that's what allowed these guys to look good. And that's how you have to do it, whether it's Baker Mayfield or whether it's Will Levis, because that's what Liam Cohen's offense necessitates. Like that's what they need. That's what they're asking for.
I don't know if that's a word, but it is one now. I like that.
Necessitates. Yes.
Listen. We're gonna have to you guys gonna have to have me on again and just talk about these coaches, because here's the thing, right? It's got to make sense. And let's say what it is. When Callahan got hired, we was like this. All right, I guess, right? Callahan getting hired, and I mean this respectfully too. It's like when Brian Schottenheimer got hired for Dallas. People like, where, like, what? Because it's got to make sense to the team you going to, not the fact that you want to be a head coach. Aaron Glenn was built to be the head coach of the Jets. Played for the Jets, did his thing. Ben Johnson just said, "Hey man, I want this equation known as Caleb Williams, or I want that. I think I could do something with that for what I did over there with with Jared Goff." Callahan got sold off the like, "Hey man, you did it with Will." I'm guaranteed you did it at Will Levis with freaking Kentucky. That's the only time that kind of stuff worked is when Joe Burrow said, "I want Jamar Chase," and they went and got him. They needed a tackle, but they got Jamar. When you think about right now with Callahan, only thing he's done is the reason why Will Levis still getting NFL checks, and you got rid of Derrick Henry, who in 2024 rushed for almost 2,000 yards.
No, so I was saying no. Liam Coen is who made Will Levis a draftable prospect, because Liam Coen coached him in his first season in 2021 in college, and then Liam Coen left, and Will Levis went down. And then you could say, all right, he did good one year, he was bad the next year as soon as Liam Coen left, and then Liam Coen is doing the same thing with Baker Mayfield. And I was like, all right, cool. I've seen him do it twice now. Once in college, once in NFL. Okay, that's proof. Do you
think if Will Levis is a starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Coen would have tried to get a head coach? Come on, Travis, man. Like, he would have been like this. If Will, and let me say this, I am not coming at Will. I'm just saying sometimes, right? These no one really knows how these owners pick people or GM. We don't really know. There is not a formula to picking a head coach anymore, because you don't. And I'm discounting Jerry Jones. I'm not even putting him. I'm talking about 31 other teams. What is the formula? Because we thought it used to be a formula, right? You did it for an extended period of time. You brought a team that wasn't genuinely good. Now they're good, year in and year out. For a guy like Callahan, you saying, was it It's like this. I think, was it Bill Belichick or was it Tom Brady? Like, which one is the reason for? And some people gonna lean Bill, some people gonna lean Tom. But what I'm saying is,
it was Bill early, it was Tom late.
But
Bill built him up to be the man who can carry that system anywhere else.
Tom is the reason why there's a culture. The best coach in the NFC South is the Bucs. He's the reason why. I'm not saying, but here's the thing though, right? You know how these coordinator stuff ain't real? When they won a Super Bowl, who was the it was Byron Leftwich. They didn't hire him with Jacksonville, because I'm telling you, they want certain coaches, and I'm not mad at them. But an owner is never going to have his feet put to the fire, as they should. They owners, they're gonna swing and miss. But the thing about Callahan, and no one wants to say it, I'm gonna say it. It's just a weird hire. It's just weird because
Brian Callahan is Nate Hackett. That's all that it is, bro. It's the same kind of guy who gets hired, who never called plays, but because they claim that he's a leader. But in reality, you have no proof of concept. You can't prove that this guy's been a leader other than the fact that he's making PowerPoint presentations and presenting them to the team, delivering the offensive game plan, but then having another guy actually carrying it out on Sundays. Like, at the end of the day, that's when you have that type of guy, it becomes real hard. If he's not a defensive coordinator and he's not a dominant position coach, he's just a passing game coordinator or something like that, it becomes real difficult to say to make a difference between this guy versus that guy versus that guy. So again, if you show me a dominant defensive coordinator, cool, I got you. You show me a dominant offensive coordinator, cool, I got you. But if you show me any of those other guys in that other bucket, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe even a dominant special teams coordinator. At least I know these guys have leading sides of the ball. Outside of that, that's kind of what it felt like you were saying. Like, when you have a guy who's not calling plays and he's just a leader guy. Yep. I don't know. That's a pure coin flip, but whether or not this is going to land.
I mean, I'd rather have those type of coaches now. Like the Harbaughs of the world. I like the fact. Look, when I'm the CEO of this organization, all I'm gonna do is oversee my coordinators. I don't got a problem with that. But what I'm saying is, we act as if the players that you were running these plays with weren't incredible talents. And when if I'm going from incredible talent to subpar talent, like it ain't the same, I better be good at something. I better have a niche at something, right? You know what? Not to. You know why I wasn't surprised?
You mentioned Harbaugh, but are you talking? You are talking Jim, right? Like
yes.
I mean, because Harbaugh, he was a head coach and then just became a head coach in a higher level. Like he's still at least you have that going for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing about it is though, Trav, it's like this. People kept wondering why won't nobody hire Eric Bieniemy? Because people knew, I don't think he's gonna be good over a team. It's not taking away what he is, but just because I'm a specialist over here, I got to specialize in 53 of them when I'm the head coach. I got to get all of them on the same page. So when LeSean, people don't think that when LeSean McCoy was sitting there talking about how he treats players, that stuff matters. Like what? Yeah, man, he talks to you any kind of way. And all I'm saying is I could be dead wrong, and I hope I'm dead wrong about Brian Callahan. I am. I really, really hope I am. But when you don't got the thoroughbreds, right? You still got to put them out there. They still got to run. And people going to be like, what? Who in the world is that? That's the Titans. Why do they? Yeah, man. And that, because what I'm saying is at the end of the day, you're still a professional. You are one of 32 head coaches in the National Football League. All I'm asking is, what do the Titans get for that? What do they get for that? And right now, it's a big fat nothing. It's not. They're not getting anything. And Cam Ward cannot be the scapegoat because the team is bad. And that's all I'm saying. When Liam Coen came over to the Jags, you know why? Because Trevor Lawrence give me something to work with. I can work with that dude. That's why head coaches want it. Hey, man, and who's the quarterback? Trevor Lawrence. You talking about the kid that had the 5 picks and still won against the Chargers? Yeah, I can work with that dude. If you are the Titans, take away the quarterback. What do I got to work with as a team? Man. And that's what I'm saying. And I think Callahan, I could be wrong again. I think he took a job. If he was first on their list, I would have to see that list. That's all I'm saying. If he was number one on that list, I would have to see it, because if the Titans ain't good, is it because of the head coach or is it because of the talent? With the Titans, that's going to be a huge question mark. That's all.
It's both. It's both. We knew that when he was hired. He took a black job, and I'm sorry, I'm just saying it. He took in NFL terms. You know exactly what I mean. You know exactly what I mean when I say that, though. Like he took one of those jobs that you knew when you. I mean, no different like the Dallas Cowboys. Like I don't know. Like these are jobs when you're taking them knowing that this thing might be burnt in like 2 years. Like this
so because you said it, Travis. So you saying he's Hugh Jackson?
I was trying to remember.
I mean, yeah. Like we knew what this was when they fired the GM. Like this is a power struggle going on in the general in the front office between the owner and the GM and all of this other stuff with the coach, with the previous coach. Nah, man, that we knew what this was early. So
I forget the coach's name before Lovie Smith had his 1-year turn at Houston. That that dude, I think, fits as well. I forget his name.
When I see how many aging veterans they brought in, and that immediately said to me, all right, this is a churn and burn roster. This is a roster you can easily just wipe the slate as immediately after you got the quarterback. I mean, you got like Kevin Zeitler. He's 35. Tyler Lockett. I mean, that's an easy contract to get out of, and he's 32. Calvin Ridley, you can be out of that contract next year. He'll be 31. Like Tony Pollard, 28. And running back years, that's basically the end of your contract in the next like year and a half. Like what I'm saying is this is an easy thing where you can wipe it clean with the next coach in 2026. This ain't hard for me.
When you're a free agent, you get to decide where you go, right? When you're a free agent, I get to decide. Ain't nobody.
Yep.
Who's the big time free agent is picking up?
He was even nice enough to wait for you, Travis.
I'm just saying, hold on. And all I'm trying to listen, sometimes I'll go to a team for 2 reasons. One, because I can make a lot of money, or two, right? I think this team can win. Who did the Titans get in the offseason to make it go, wow,
man, these boys know, but they gonna pay me. Are the checks cashing? Yes.
In the words of Flavor Flav, they got to pay me, boy.
They got to pay me. And like I said, when it comes to this Titans team, when the reason why I say I'm concerned about him is because it starts at the top. I believe Jeffrey Simmons. I believe Calvin Ridley. I believe, all the veterans, they respect Coach Callahan because he the head. Listen, we've all worked at jobs that respected my supervisor. That don't mean I respect your title. You my supervisor. So I'm gonna talk a little lower when you walk by. You go? And I'm gonna say that's what I think is going on. I think that the best teams respect their head coach. I respect your title, and I respect what you say. That's the only reason why Mike Tomlin can be a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach as long as he has his message hasn't grown sour. Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, they're gonna make sure them other guys fall in line. Jalen Ramsey, you know you ain't heard nothing from him, right? No antics, no nothing. Because he respects Mike Tomlin. So when people say, I think never having a losing record is mediocre. Since when? I ain't gonna win a Super Bowl every year, right? But what I'm saying is, when Brian Callahan's tenure is over with the Titans, what are we gonna remember? Nothing. You're not gonna remember it. That sets you back when we're like, dude, it ain't even a page to turn. Like, how did we turn the page from this? Was we ever on a page? No, because everybody you got rid of outside of Kevin Byard, they balling with their new teams. I guarantee you this. When it comes to Liam Coen came to the AFC South because he said, I think we could beat Houston. I don't know what's going on with the Colts. And I'm sorry, Titans, man, but that's why and so I wouldn't be surprised if y'all winning big in 2025, because once again, if I spent my whole life to want to be an NFL coordinator, or I want to coach one side of the ball. No, I'm sorry. I want to be a position coach. I want to be a coordinator. I want to be a head coach.
Yeah.
If my first and maybe only opportunity is a team that's already dead in the water, dude, because we never know. All I'm gonna say is this: if Tom Brady played for the Cleveland Browns, he don't become Tom Brady. I don't care what nobody say. Where you go has a lot to do with what you become, and a lot of it, I know that Coach Reed, I know that Coach Reed, I deal with Kansas City is a good coach for this reason. Forget Donovan McNabb, forget Patrick Mahomes. He won with Alex Smith, didn't he? I'm telling you, that's coaching, man. And he said we a quarterback away. All I'm saying is, if you a Cam Ward, he is going home saying, yo, mom, yeah, dude, I ain't know it's gonna be like this. What you mean? Man, it's gonna be. I got to fight the best player on the team to make headlines nationally. So I hope I'm wrong. I just know that every team has certain things in common. A respected head coach by all the other teams, a quarterback that can win you games, and a team that's willing to follow both of them. I don't think the Titans gonna follow Cam Ward because he's the number one pick and it's sexy to do that. They listen to Brian Callahan because he's the one that set the meetings in the practices. Other than that, they going home saying, dude, it's going to be if the players could say what they really want to say, when keeping it real goes wrong, if they could say what they really want to say and couldn't get fined, they wouldn't have enough tape for that confession room. They'll be like, hey, because somebody already in there. Like, you in there, hey, bro, let me know when you come out, man. I'm going to be in here a while, G. And I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
And I'm going to say this. Say what you will about any NFL coaches or any of that. I have presided over an hour and a half of relative peace between a Titans fan and a Jaguars fan. But for now, it's just time to wrap it up because we're going to have Ben back again. For what you talking about, exaggeration? You don't watch old ladies fight from a distance. You put that sign away. You done this. You're fired. This misappropriation from you of the exaggeration alert after telling me I got the order wrong when you didn't pay attention and the guest knew it better than you. You don't do that.
Yeah. So all you listeners on the pod side, you heard him say relative peace as he continues lambasting me right now. I got you.
Relative peace between you and the Titans fan. I'm going to work because I ain't either. Anyways, Ben, an honor, joy, and privilege as always to have you on. It's a great time, a great way to get things hyped for week one. I already know you telling folks not to have weddings in the fall, and there's more than 84 reasons to do it. Mm-hmm. Tell them the other stuff you're doing, where you can be found, my man.
Every Tuesday from 11 to 1, I got the fan in the end. You come for the nuance. You come for the nonsense. You come because you got common sense, and you come because it just makes sense. Come to the fan in the end. Me and my homie Steven, we on there doing every Monday. My boy Ryan Smitty Smith winning the division. Why do we call it that? Because when I was in the National Football League, they said you either win in the division or you just in the division. And I had to play against the Peyton Manning Colts. So we were just in the division when I was there. And obviously, you know, I got my last and final podcast, and it's gonna be called I Hate Lists. Me and my guy BJ Bennett gonna have a podcast called Everybody Got Lists, right? And we all hate them. Everybody hates them. So we're gonna call it I Hate Lists. It's gonna be based on college football, just talking about the worst fan bases, the best players we've seen. Just basically a podcast to piss everybody off. I mean, like podcasts, like things like the most exciting players you ever seen in college football, and Peter Warrick ain't on the list. That's not a real list. Peter Warrick, one of the most excited players you ever, and this is coming from a Florida guy. You know, things like the most overrated college you ever seen because they don't have real tradition and legacy. Oregon. Oregon ain't got no tradition and legacy. You don't believe me? Name their greatest player. Marcus Mariota. And that's the list. I'm just telling y'all. Listen,
get on the Jaguars podcast through all the shaded Eric Armstead.
Wow. Listen, Eric. You know I love you, but what I'm saying is this: outside of having 35 uniform combinations, y'all are the only team in college football history to make it to the national championship and don't even wear your team colors. That has never happened before. Look, and I'm not coming at Oregon. I'm gonna come at a lot of people, man.
It's that you don't discriminate that makes.
I'm not. I mean, listen. I'm gonna come at my Gators too. I'm gonna come at Georgia. You know what the hell is a hottie toddy? Stuff like that. Like what are these things? You know, and you can't have a real tradition. You can't have real tradition that doesn't reside outside of your geographic location. If it's only where you are, it's fabricated. Things like politicians in Ohio trying to have legislation that you can't plant the flag, just beat Michigan. And you don't have to worry about it. Stuff like it's going to be college football centric. It ain't going to be based off the games. It's going to be based off the history of college football and why we shouldn't forget about these guys. Why, you know, things like the best running back in the state of Georgia that ever played college in the state of Georgia. It's not Herschel Walker. It's Adrian Peterson from Georgia Southern. You don't believe me? Go check the numbers. And you don't got to believe me. And the only reason why he went to Georgia Southern because he had a speech impediment. These are backed up by facts. And I know people are saying, Ben, you just mad. Mad at what? Because I'm telling the truth. You don't got to like it. I ain't going to be biased against nobody. And here's the one that's going to piss people off. Peyton Manning ain't even a top 20 quarterback in the SEC. He ain't even a top 20. You don't believe me? How can Peyton Manning be considered the best quarterback in the SEC when he never beat Florida, never won a national championship, never won an SEC championship? Don't give me he went number one. His brother went number one, didn't he? His nephew going to go number one. I'm telling y'all, okay. And listen, tell me this, Travis, tell me this, Kyle. Think about this. When people get to talk about Peyton Manning, I was at Tennessee. They got a room that's locked that you can't go in. Peyton Manning was the number one overall pick, right? He was the man, right? Jamarcus Russell was the number one overall pick. You're going to have a Courtney Anderson out of Penn State was the number one overall pick. What I'm trying to tell y'all is when it comes to college football, I'm not going to be biased. Whether it's Florida, Florida State, UCF, I'm talking about everybody. Because UCF, you know why I'm coming at UCF. As long as y'all got that national championship banner in Orlando, I am coming for y'all.
Why you ain't coming to Alabama? Why you ain't coming to Florida? Why you coming to all the other colleges who have them same similar national championships?
I'm coming. Listen, Travis. Nobody's off limits. When I tell you, this is just coming from me. BJ is a college football. The reason why we're gonna call it a list is because everybody think they're gonna make the list. Everybody think, hey man, you don't want to make this list. And it's gonna be all in fun. I know people gonna come at me. People already tell me my takes are trash. Ben, you trash. You don't know what you're doing. I said, but here's the thing, right? I respect UCF for when they went on that run, when they beating everybody. When your best player got one hand, you're the truth. When your best player only has one hand. And Travis, Kyle, I'm gonna have y'all on. I'm trying to have y'all on one of the shows.
When you talk UCF, thanks to my work with the black and gold banneret, Listen. All I'm gonna say is this: Gus Malzahn, really, dude, talk all that trash and leave. Clown stuff like that is gonna be coming. It's gonna be the big four, not just the big three. Me on to talk about Gus Malzahn and UCF because I've made plenty of calls that are absolutely correct on that. And I even have sources on upper levels of UCF athletics department that can confirm the things I said. Have me on that show, Ben Troupe.
welcome. It's going to be called I Hate List, where I will not get it right, but that don't make me wrong.
Oh,
So let's see.
Travis C. Holmes, tell the world.
Hey man, you can find me on all the socials, Travis D. Holmes, Blue Sky, X, etc. But most importantly, you can find my writing covering the Jacksonville Jaguars at BigCatCountry.com. So head over to the site, take a look at my 2025 season prediction, whatever you want to call it, how I forecast this 2025 season to go for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, send it to your parents. I'm sure everybody need to read it. Send it to everybody. And click the link, most importantly. But let them know where you can be found, Mr. Nash.
I'm glad you told people to send it to their parents as often as you tell people to go argue with their mama. I think that's purpose, because they'll be well-read to argue with their mama well. It's perfect. I'm Kyle Nash, the King. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my writings with the black and gold banneret, as well as FFSN, the Fans for Sports Network, covering your Jacksonville Jaguars, and of course my work covering the Orlando Magic when that's coming up. And don't forget Bolt Blitz Uncut, my Charger podcast. Yes, I have a Charger podcast now, Ben. I don't know if you knew about that. I produce for that as well. And for all of that, I think we have everything in place. So thanks once again, Troupe. Love having you on. A great marathon as always. And until next time, everyone, class dismissed.